Thanks all so much for coming along this morning. It's brilliant again to see so many familiar faces. As Mervyn said, I hope you've all got your hampers and you've enjoyed receiving those. I think one of the real benefits of working from home, as a lot of us are, is that we can really bring our pure natural quality products literally to your kitchen table. And we hope you'll enjoy cooking with so many award-winning products. We've made some mention already this morning of the awards that have fantastically managed to go ahead this year. And we've got Artie from the Blas na hÉireann Awards on the call. And we're really proud to say that Northern Ireland Company scooped up 56 awards there this year, which was 20% of overall awards given. And we also managed to achieve 172 Great Taste Gold Stars, which I think really gives credit to the breadth and success of our food manufacturing industry in Northern Ireland. We've got a lot of products that you're going to try today that are really truly local products, like Mash Direct, Clandy Yogurt, White Oats, or Armagh apple juice, all grown locally and with real respect to traditional production methods. They've been really very lightly processed to bring you some excellent quality products. Aside those traditional production methods, we've seen some real innovation in recent years in plant-based and free-from products in Northern Ireland. Again, we've got Fine Brogue on the call, and they can talk about their nitrate-free bacon, and Rich Sauces as well, who have really led the way with the new vegan mayonnaise product, which is now available for retail. Alongside this, our companies have always paid great attention to sustainability in the way they create their products. Not only in taking care of the environment, but also now in looking at how we can reduce plastics and packaging. Oscar can chat a bit more about totally removing plastic from his new tea bags. And that's all from us really. On to Paula, and I hope you'll pick up some handy cookery tips and that you'll enjoy probably about a week's worth of breakfast from your boxes. Thanks everybody.
Well, Paula, just as you're unmuting yourself, if you would please, can I just a note to anybody who wants to tweet or any form of social media during this morning. You're not under any obligation to, but journalists particularly, if you would please tag Shauna at LoveNIFood, and if you can use the hashtag InvestNI Virtual Breakfast. I'll put the details into the chat box so that you can see that, but please do use social media this morning as well. And we're going to pass over now to Paula.
Thanks, Mervyn. Thanks, Michelle. And thanks for having me today. I'm really delighted. My kitchen has never looked so marvellous first thing in the morning. It's normally a slice of toast. So first thing I'm going to do is make the perfect bowl of porridge. And of course, to make the perfect bowl of porridge, needs a perfect porridge oats. So these are White's organic jumbo oats. I've got 750 mils of whole milk in here, and then just the porridge in. And a few years ago, I think it must be, when you think it's 10 years ago, and it was probably more like 15. I worked with oats on the perfect bowl of porridge. So this is what we come up with, and this is going to be ready in about 5 minutes. So I've got a few things just to top the porridge. I mean that's lovely, bit of porridge. If a wee pinch of salt or some honey is perfect. But I've got a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to incorporate some of the Kestrel Forest Feast prunes into this, and I've got some sultanas, and they're soaking in some of the orchard twists from Armagh Cider Company from the apple press, their apple pressing. So to make some, I'm going to do some caramelized pears. So I've got a nice hot pan here, so I'm just going to add some sugar to this. And this is something you can make up beforehand, and it works with apples as well. And just let that caramelize. And then what I did was I soaked some sultanas in the apple juice, so that just overnight. A really nice way of getting getting your a hit of sugar without being too sweet. So that I'm moving this over to the front pan here actually. I'm just going to let this caramelize really hot. The porridge is great, just sort of cook for itself here. So once this is caramelized, we'll add the sugar, or add the juice that came out of this. So it's soaked juice, so let that go. The other thing that I did as well for topping, wee bit of an adult topping here, is the McConnell whiskey, which is absolutely beautiful. I had a wee nip of it last night, and then the rest of it, literally a wee nip, and the rest of it's in the prunes. So just soak them overnight in it. So that's the this is I'm just going to add the apple juice to this caramel. give that a wee stir down and just let that just really cook down, and just to get rid of all that kind of toffee that's appeared there. Add another wee splash of it. I would do this in the evening. This is the breakfast version. The evening version I would do with cider, which is nice. And also the caramel works really well with plums, or a Sunday morning breakfast, you could have that. So that's, we'll just let that, move that over there, let that get up a bit, and then let this cook down. And that's up there. So we're also going to add a bit of crunch with my porridge. So we've got this, the Little whole almond granola. They've got a different range. They've got an apple and they've got different fruit, berry fruits. This is beautiful granola. It's not too sweet. It's really, really like it. So that's that'll go into it as well. So we'll give this a nice stir at that. And if we could maybe go to Stuart Best, maybe to have a quick chat about the oats.
Morning, everybody.
Hi, Stuart. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks. What about yourself?
I'm great. So Stuart, the company's been going for over 150 years, but and it's a firm favourite in Northern Irish households. I know that we all have that, but we have to have our white oats. But I know that you've won quite a few awards recently, so it's not just us that recognise it. So.
Yeah, well, the product you're using there, Paula, the Organic Jumbo, we won the UK Quality Food Awards, which was kind of like a wow moment for whites. You know, all the investment that we put in, particularly to organic. I mean, we've been going a long time, as you said, since 1841, but we've only recently, sort of in the 90s, mid-90s, started to look into organic and invest in it. And at that time, we were milling about 100 tons of oats. And, you know, everyone was sort of going, why are you getting into organic? But now we're the largest miller in the UK and Ireland for organic oats. And it's that award that we won that night was a fantastic night for us. It put us on the map, not just in Northern Ireland, where we've always been strong, but, you know, in GB, where we continue to grow our business. You know, it was really a great award for the company. You know, organic really speaks everything about what we're about here at Whites. You know, we're into our growers. We've been working with our growers for a long time. We're trying to inspire consumers with healthy products. We're focused on sustainability. So that product has been a real pillar product for us, you know.
And the sustainability is very important to your company as well. I mean, I've been down, I've seen your process. There's not really a lot has changed apart from the mechanics over this past, you know, since 1831. Apart, you know, it's a basic process of taking the oats, isn't it?
Yeah. All the milling. I mean, that's one of our key strengths, you know, is our milling expertise. But really, especially in recent years, our work with our growers, Paula, has been a big focus. We've now got a full-time agronomist in the business who's working on the farms directly with the growers, you know, looking to maintain biodiversity and really advise on varieties and just continue to produce quality oats that we need. So that's become, sustainability has become a big part of the business. So even with packaging there, you know, that pack that you have is now a fully recyclable pack, whereas in the past it wasn't, you know. So we've been taking steps in our packaging as well to sort of match up the work around sustainability.
And how important is customer trust to your business?
Absolutely. I mean, we've a fully transparent supply chain. You know, we don't only just produce porridge oats. You know, we produce oats across different categories, likes of granola, likes of toasted oats. You know, and we've done work there even on reformulation with reducing sugar. You know, we know that our customers trust the brand, and where we need to take steps to be responsible, you know, we have done with our products.
Right. So I've just added some of the pears to this caramel. And then I've added the sultanas that have been soaking already. So those are in there. And so just I'll take that off actually, because I have done some already here. So they're ready. I'll just leave this aside. So I made these last night. So these are all good to go here. So these are just, so that's your sort of compote with the caramel, with the apple juice, with the pears, or you could use plums or apples. You know, if you've got some nice apples I have an apple tree in the garden here, so I've been using a lot of apples, and those are some also. I know that Forest Fruits do a lovely range of dried fruits, and they're great. If you soak them the night before, they just add a wee bit of lavender to your porridge, because I mean, Stuart, the porridge is great in its own. Do you approve of this, or would you say what kind of?
I have to say, it looks great, Paula. You know, I think Friday, everybody's got the Friday now, and we're looking forward to the weekend, so it's giving us some ideas for the weekend.
Yeah, that's good. And the other thing I'm going to do is have some of the Candy Boy state yogurt here, which is this is the Greek style one. What I did was I made a labneh, so I just strained it through a sieve lined with a wee bit of muslin, and so it's. So if I look at this yogurt here now, and it is, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, it's lovely and thick and rich. But if you take it and strain it, it comes really, really thick. So I've got in here, I'll put a wee bit of maple syrup just to sweeten it. I think you said there too, Stuart, about the sweeteners, you know, about sugar. I mean, people are really concerned about that now, aren't they? About you know,
absolutely,
cutting down your sugar, and when you make porridge, you have complete control over it.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, there's obviously a crisis around sugar, and you know, if it's not required, it shouldn't be in the product. You know, and obviously you need for taste, you either need fat or you need sugar. But I suppose it's getting the balance right there to bring healthy products to the consumer. You know.
Yeah. The other thing that I did in the recipes there, Stuart, was these protein balls. These are a complete revelation to me now. I've never made these before. I don't think I've ever tasted them before. So this using the oats again, the jumbo oats. Some peanut butter, some of the chopped prunes, a bit of vanilla, honey, some peanut butter, and that's it. Really just some chia seeds and coconut, and roll them up. I've never made these. I outdoor swim, and I always come in absolutely starving from swimming in the sea, especially this time of year. So these are, you see, the next time you see me, it'll be 8 stone, because these are, I'm making these all the time now. They're amazing. Is that the kind of thing that
looks great?
Yeah, it tastes good too. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to just finish this up here now. So that's our porridge done here now. In an ideal world, leave that to sit a wee minute, but we'll not worry too much. So that's taken. We're not going to sweeten it because we've got all our lovely sweeteners on top. So I'll take a wee bit of this porridge. So I like my porridge quite runny, you know, I don't really like a big, thick, gloopy one, because that's what I was brought up with. Unfortunately, it put me off until I started working with white, Stuart, so that's the only time I got back into porridge again. So some of our, just take some of the compote, and we'll put that down that side. And some of our prunes, soaked in whiskey, so maybe wee bit of that, so that's good. And then just a nice bit, just dip this in here, nice quenelle of our Candy Boy yogurt there. So that's our first sort of dish there. So that's our porridge. You could put a wee bit of honey on top of that. The other thing you put in this would be beautiful. I know we've all been having this for a barnbrack, but we'll talk about that later. This is a 3-star one lemon curd from the Little Bakehouse. It's absolutely beautiful. It's stunning. So thank you, Stuart. So that's our sort of start off there.
It's a pleasure. Looks great.
Thanks a million. And we're going to move on to Tracy Hamilton now from Mash Direct. So Tracy, you've got the your Rosties, which are in the oven here. Is Tracy there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi Tracy, how are you? Tracy, just give us a bit of background in your on Mash Direct for a start.
So Mash Direct is very much a family farm. Martin, my husband, is 6th generation vegetable grower, and we're based on the shores of Strangford Lough, a really beautiful part of Northern Ireland. And really the Mash Direct started because we were looking to add value to our vegetables. We were getting very poor return from the wholesale market. We thought, what on earth are we going to do to survive as a family farm? And it was Martin's light bulb moment after drinking a couple of glasses of whiskey, had a friend and neighbour's party.
The best light bulb moments come there, don't they?
And he had noticed people's buying habits, and he just thought, we need to make our produce convenient. So that's how it started. And as Michelle said in her introduction, it's very little processing. We actually designed and made a lot of our equipment to steam cook the vegetables, because the whole thing was we didn't want to, they're unadulterated. We wanted the real taste and texture of real homemade food. So that's how the only way we could really work out that we didn't want vats of boiling water. We didn't want anything steam cooked. We didn't want anything boiling. We wanted to retain all the nutrients and the vegetable flavor. So that was really, really important. But just using these, the 6th generation of knowledge of vegetable growing, and obviously, as Stuart said, sustainability is really important. And we also do a lot of crop rotation. The health of the ground is absolutely vital. In fact, we have grown oats for whites as well in our rotation. So yeah, the quality of the ground is absolutely paramount to the taste and texture of the vegetables. And we're actually using old heritage varieties of seed. That's really important for it's the flavor that we've all grown up with. So we don't have to have the pre-packed type product. Everything's mashed.
But I know that your I don't want to make sweeping generalizations here, but I know your products are very popular with older people because it's best for the convenience, and especially, for example, the turnip, that you don't have to peel the turnip. It's there. It's as you say, it's unadulterated. But what have you done to try and tap into the younger market? I know you've done quite a lot of things that way.
Well, again, even the Rosties was for younger market, just food on the go, breakfast, lunch, dinner, just very flexible products, because people are, well, until this year, people's lifestyles were really, really crazy and people didn't have time to cook. And that was really important. So something they can cook in a hurry and have a family meal, which was really important. And just to, the convenience and the speed of cooking was really, really important for every age group. But also, as you say, yes, they're certainly suitable for the elderly, but also for weaning babies. Our carrot and parsnip mash, would be one of the first sort of baby foods. So really, we suit every age group, and everything, Paula, is actually gluten-free. Taste and texture.
That really appeals, I think, to just a completely broad spectrum of the audience. Everybody wants to cut down on that gluten, even if it is a wee bit misinformed. But I think you have tapped into something there, haven't you?
Absolutely. And we started off obviously with the mashed potato and mashed turnip and things like that, but we now have over 50 products. So it's a massive range, literally from mashed potato to cauliflower bites, to gluten-free beer battered chips. The beer is obviously gluten-free as well. So it's a great range of products to suit every age.
Yeah, and I've seen some brilliant stuff on Instagram, where it's quite hipster Mash Direct products now, Tracy. I don't know how you feel about that.
Good old social media,
well, it's great. I mean, it's not, as you say, you're tapping into another audience. So this is the potato rosti here. So I have one in the oven, but again, really lovely. I mean, they're convenient. It takes away that whole having to grate the potatoes and having to dry them and everything, and they are really delicious. That's the important thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the awards are phenomenal. Obviously, Potato Rosties have won the Great Taste Awards, but the awards have been phenomenal for the growth of Mash Direct, and Blas na HÉireann Awards as well. All the food awards, Q Awards, they've been really, really important. So thank you for Artie and all the ones who kept them going, regardless of what's on the rest of the world.
Yeah. Tracy, thank you. I'm going to move on to Eileen now, because I'm going to poach an egg. One of Eileen's cabinet eggs. So this is a cabinet egg from Newton Butler in County Fermanagh, and you're there now, Eileen, I take it?
Yes, sitting in the farm.
Yeah, very good. So tell us about your eggs, because I love your eggs. So, but sell them to the audience here, because first of all, from my point of view as a cook, they're good heavy egg, Eileen. I think that's the thing. And then we'll tap in here. And I'm just going to put this into poach, and then we'll let you, so I've got some water here just with a wee bit of vinegar in it and some salt. So just tap that in. There we are. I'll leave that. So, sorry I didn't interrupt you there. I asked you a question. Tell us what's so special about what makes your eggs so special?
Well, we're exclusively free range, so we've never done caged or anything else. We have a lot of other packers would just diversify to suit whatever the market wanted. But we always just did the free range, and because we like them to be out roaming about and expressing their natural behaviours. And we're a family farm. It's myself, my husband, and my husband's two brothers as well, and a sister. And the brother and sister produce for us too. So we have 7 flocks all together, and they're rotated that we have a good supply of the different sizes all year round. And we've won a lot of awards as well. Great Taste, Blossom of Heron, and we've had the Irish Quality Food Awards, the Delicious Magazine Award as well, and which was a really good one.
How important are those awards, Eileen, to you?
Very important, because like we can say they're great eggs and that, but it's getting it backed up with the awards, because they're the professionals that say they are what we say they are, you know, and you can prove that they are good. Like in the start, it was hard, you know, knocking on doors and stuff like that. But once people taste them, they do get it. They go like, oh, I thought an egg was an egg, but I realised.
I have to say, not just for breakfast, but they're great for cooking as well. I mean, I make a lot of fresh pasta, and your egg yolks really, you know, make a lovely, silky, good, deep coloured pasta. So they're great.
Yeah, they're very good too in lemon curd, because they put a richness.
Lovely. Well, you've sold me on that. Thank you, Eileen. I'm going to move quickly on now to Kerry from Finnebrogue. And just to talk about this bacon, Kerry.
Morning.
How are you? How are you doing? Kerry, I have to say now, my kitchen smells delicious, and the neighbours have already commented on this. So this is the bacon, and again, I mean, I took it out of the pan. There's the pan that came out on. So obviously, just fat. There's none of the white stuff, and I think that's something that people are obsessed with, aren't they?
Yeah, so our smoked streaky bacon, it does smell delicious. That's because of the way we smoke our bacon. Being nitrite free, we're already removing chemicals. So we thought if we're going to have a smoked bacon, we're going to have to remove the chemicals from the smoking process as well. So we've removed 99% of the chemicals from the smoking process. And how we've gone about doing that is that we actually vape the bacon rather than smoking it. And I think that really adds to the smell and the flavour whenever you're home cooking it.
Definitely, yeah.
This product actually won a Great Taste Award last year in 2019. Okay. As a personal favourite of mine.
and the thing about not using the nitrates is very much is about health, isn't it? And I mean, is this something you've tapped into? Because I think, are you unique in that, Kerry, that you're maybe the only nitrate-free bacon, or is that?
Yes. So we, back in 2015, the WHO report basically condemned the use of nitrites in processed food. At the time, we were one of the largest sausage producers in the UK, and unfairly so, sausages were brought in to the WHO report, and our sales were impacted. And at this time, Dennis, our owner, started looking at a way of producing bacon and ham without adding any nitrates. Now, it took us a few years, but in 2017, Dennis cracked it and discovered how to produce nitrate-free bacon. It was a whirlwind process from there. In about 6 months, we came up with the Naked brand. We did all of our artwork. We went to market, got all of the research done, and on the 3rd of January 2018, we launched the first ever nitrate-free bacon to the UK market. I believe our first retailer was Tesco and I, who's on the call. And Waitrose in the UK. It's gone from strength to strength. We're now in all of the retailers across the UK. We've also entered into the Irish market. We have a Bord Bia version that goes into Dunnes and Tesco Ireland. Yeah, and
I'm just finishing this off here, actually, Kerry, because I'm going to do with dressing. Just something a bit different. Just using your bacon as sort of I've got some scallion in there, or spring onions if you're watching anywhere else, and a wee bit of mustard and some honey, and then just a wee bit of the rapeseed oil. So this is just a dressing, just to dress to dress our egg here. So the egg's done. So it's just, now I'm going to put this. Now I've got some smoked salmon from Ewing. So there's Walter Ewing there. So 3rd generation fish smoker based in Belfast. And this is a smoked salmon. So a lovely smoked salmon made with a Glenarm organic smoked salmon. So take a nice, this is my breakfast, so take a nice big slice there. And then also there, one of Eileen's lovely eggs there, so nice and soft. And this is another lovely product. This is a seaweed seasoning from Crawford Rocks. And I actually won the Gold Innovation Award from Glasnaherin this year. So I've been using it for quite a while now. Brilliant if you want to cut down your salt, but apart from that, it tastes absolutely beautiful. It's got a lovely umami. So, and it's great with eggs, it's great with mushrooms. We tasted that on it. And then just our, just this lovely dressing with the bacon and the bacon and the scallion and just a wee bit of mustard in that. And there we are. And we'll just take a wee bit of that. Like a wee bit of dill with an egg. It's a nice wee bit of dill in that. There we are. And then we'll just you take our knife just to show you Eileen's lovely egg. And I've got that lovely crispy rosti at the bottom there. And then we'll just nip that down.
That is just ridiculous.
There you are. Look at that. Look at that. There you are.
Oh,
Nice
shame.
My kitchen has never seen anything like this before. You know, normally it's 2 espressos and a bit of toast and marmite. So this is so that's yeah. And I think that leads us, Mervyn, up to Suki Tea and Oscar, doesn't it?
Oscar, yes. Okay, let's get Oscar. If you can unmute yourself there, Oscar, that would be great. Thank you. Next time, I think we have one of these. I think we have it at Paula's house. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Bring everybody. I'd put a marquee out the back. We've got a massive big, bit of a park out there. It would be great. I think we might need to get over something first, but anyway.
Good morning, Paula.
Hi, Oscar. How are you?
All right, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
That looks delicious.
Thank you. And I'm really looking forward to trying your sparkling tea. So you're going to do a tasting for us now, and I think everybody's got the breakfast tea, and they've got the peach and green tea, sparkling one. This is brilliant, actually, by the way.
Yeah, we've got 2 tastings. So I wanted to do something really traditional and something quite new. Virtual tea tasting is not new to us. We've been doing this over lockdown. So we've been inviting people to come in and taste, send them tea, and then we'll do a full tasting. So, before we start, I wanted to do the 2 tastings, and then I thought I'd touch on tea and health slightly. It's a good topic right now. Small background on Suki Tea. We're based in Belfast. This is my tasting room. There's 10 of us in the business, and we've been running a specialty tea business for 15 years. We're on the Peace Line in Belfast. And the difference between speciality, what I mean by speciality and commodity, I suppose there's a slight difference there, is when I talk about speciality, it's really the hand-picked loose leaf tea. You can get really good and really bad loose leaf tea and really good and really bad tea bag tea. But when I refer to that, it's really about loose leaf tea. And that's what we're tasting. So you might have already had a cup of tea already. I suppose, yeah, the one question that I'll kind of throw out there, I know nobody's going to be able to answer, but what does tea mean to you? Like, I think tea means so much. We've got 50 plus people on the call, and everyone's going to have a different idea of what it means. For me, there's some functionality to it. First thing in the morning, I've had a cup of tea. I don't even know that I've made it. I'm just wandering around, and I've already consumed it. And then later in the day, it becomes a bit more ritual. And I love that about tea. It's got so many different kind of moods you can have, and there's so many different varieties to it as well. Well, what we're going to start with is our signature drink, very traditional breakfast tea. This is the retail pack that it comes in. You might see that on the screen. So what you've got is this. We moved to plastic-free quite a few years ago. The tea bag that this is in is called Soilon, and it's a GM-free, plastic-free, biodegradable bag. And the great thing about this is it holds enough tea to be able to kind of infuse really well. It's about the shape of the tea bag. So if we pop that in there, one of the challenges we found with the pyramid bags. So boiling water for black tea, always. Green tea, you need slightly less temperature, but I'd always use boiling water. One of the challenges that we found with this bag is we work with a lot of concessions. You know, kind of bean to cup coffee machines, and you go and you grab one of these and put it under and get the water. We work with a company in England called Smoking Bean. But the feedback was that it's loose leaf tea, and generally loose leaf tea takes a few minutes to brew. But what we had to do is we had to re-engineer this. So we used a bit more tea and a slightly more broken leaf. It is still orthodox tea, but now this, instead of brewing in 4 minutes, brews in a minute. So we've got a much quicker brew, but it still delivers all the depth that loose leaf tea gives you. So that's going to take, yeah, just if you're tasting now, that's okay. If you're going to taste later, so I'll leave that for a minute and then go back to it. So just to touch on tea and health before we move on to the other tea and really get into the taste of that as well. Like tea's part of daily hydration, but we found out that tea is the second most drunk liquid on the planet, and we wanted to know what's behind that. Why have we been drinking it for such a long time, and what are the real health benefits? There's a lot of pseudoscience out there. So it's a natural source of minerals. There's lots of manganese for body development, potassium, but also there's a unique chemical in tea called L-theanine, and this is a mood enhancer, I suppose. It regulates natural happy hormones that we have called serotonin and dopamine. So kind of no wonder it's the second most drunk liquid on the planet. Right, that's 1 minute. So we're going to taste this. If you've got it, taste it with us. If not, wait till later. So it's a loose leaf breakfast tea from Kenya, Tanzania. So we've got East Africa, and this is a very traditional English breakfast, and a bit of Assam as well. Now, Irish breakfast is different. Irish breakfast is predominantly Assam. We also have a signature Belfast brew, but this is an English breakfast. So if I was tasting in the tea tasting world, I'd use this spoon. This has traveled tens of thousands of miles and tasted thousands of cups of tea, and we'd be tasting by kind of aerating or slurping. And what that does, you get about 125 miles an hour. That's the optimum burst of flavour on the back of your palate, and that gives you a much more rounder flavour. But we don't have to go all slurpy. We can just taste it. And it's a really bright, brisk, fresh, full-bodied cup of tea. That's something very traditional. And then I thought, well, as a business, we never really sit still, and we're always looking to step out of our comfort zones. So last year, the last 2 years, we looked at the ready-to-drink market. We traveled a lot. We've been to Japan and the States, and you can see influences there. So, I mean, over 50% of under 35s drink in Japan now drink tea as ready to drink. It's kind of the tradition of making a brew is quite different. So we looked at ready to drink market, we looked at the iced tea market, and created two teas. So this is made with real brewed tea, and there's no added sugar, and we've added sparkles. We've added carbonation to it. We saw the kombucha market really take off, and there's the nitro market. We wanted something that was a bit more accessible. So it's tea, but not as we know it. Best served chilled. And it's also great as a mixer. So I've just got this straight from the fridge, and I'm having it as it is. I'm not going to pour it over ice, but it is great over ice. So you can see there you've got that kind of natural, this one is black tea and peach, by the way. You've got a natural tea colour to it. As good as a grab and go, and I suppose an alternative to an afternoon sparkling tea, or an afternoon. There's a big market for low to no as well, so alternative to champagne. I don't know why you need an alternative to champagne, but so really some good clarity. We use real brewed tea. It's from Argentina. That has the most clarity to it, and then natural fruit juices and botanicals.
And that really pulls the flavour through, Oscar. That's also a great taste winner in the awards last month, wasn't that right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the breakfast tea's got showered with awards throughout the years, and this one we launched in April. not a great time to launch, but we've get through 24,000 of these already, so it's not doing too bad, and it got a great taste award this year. Yeah,
Fantastic, and it is a great product. Yeah.
And you get those real natural peach notes to it because we're using natural ingredients, and that's the benefit to it. So I hope you enjoyed those. We looked at a little bit of health. That unique. I think you've got a third of millennials now teetotal. I think it's we've got something that's slightly alternative, low to no, a bit more of a grown-up soft drink, alternative to really heavily sugar. There's no added sugar in this as well.
Beautiful, Oscar, I have to say.
There's just one more thing. Michelle mentioned plastic-free. Of course, like Suki Tea, we set up our business to be ethical when we started. Last year, we gave ourselves a challenge to reduce contact packaging by 100% by the end of this year. We actually did it by the end of last year. So this is everything that our tea's packaging is 100% plastic-free.
Great job.
Thank you, Oscar.
Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I think you were one of the first people I ever interviewed for the radio. How long ago was that? I was born out 15 years ago.
It was 15 years ago, Paula.
Yeah. And you've just gone from strength to strength. I get real pang every time I see it when I'm in England. I think you're doing so well. It's great.
Yes, it's 22 countries now, and it's predominantly retail is really important to us. We're moving stronger.
And deservedly so. Yeah. Right. So thank you, Oscar. That was amazing. Thank you. I'm going to move on now to hopefully Louis Luddock from Hellbent Sausages. So this is a South African inspired burgers. Sorry, I cut the label a bit there. But is Louis there? Yeah.
Hi, Paula. Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Louis. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. So,
are you in the middle of maybe you play rugby for Ulster as well? So are you in the middle of training at the moment? Or?
Yeah, I know this is a little bit unorthodox, but we just finished gymming there. So I quickly had to run and take the call. But no, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm Louis Luddock. That is our traditional beef sausages. Thank you very much for having us. Appreciate it.
A pleasure. The smell again. Louis, tell us how this came about, because I mean it's not an orthodox looking sausage either, but and the smell is completely different from, you'll say, an ordinary regular breakfast sausage, even a beef one. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Paula. Like, obviously, as you can hear from the accent, I'm South African, and that is a traditional South African sausage. And about 2 years ago, my ex-rugby player, Skalk van der Merwe, he played for Ulster as well, and he actually cooked those sausages for his son's birthday, for his second birthday. And he said, listen, taste this. And I thought it was the best boerewors sausage I've ever tasted. And my wife said, let's try and let some of the locals try it. And from the beginning, about 10 guys around the team and some of our friends ordered about 10 Ks a week just from the sausages. And we realized that it's not only for a South African palate, but for the locals as well. And we started talking to a couple of people, and obviously as rugby players, we don't know much about business and how about, and especially the fact that we are foreigners. We're not from Northern Ireland, we're not from Belfast, so obviously that makes it very difficult. And I must say the locals like yourself, Paula, Invest and I, Food and I, has made us feel so welcome, so at home. And we started talking to Forum, our branding company, and we needed help. We needed a face. We needed direction. And Invest and I put us in touch with Forum, and we brainstormed the one day and explained exactly what we as two families, the Van der Merwes and Luddocks, what we're about, why we want to do this, why we want to sell a South African beef sausage in Northern Ireland. And that's where the name Hellbent came from, because we are absolutely hellbent. As professional rugby players, we can't compromise. We train day in and day out and to perform over weekends. So with that, obviously there's a lot of responsibility because we are a little bit in the public's eye. So obviously it was a bit of a risk for us as well, but we just felt with this sausage, it's a pure beef sausage. It's the recipe is over 100 years old. Golf knows that recipe inside and out. And we think obviously it's absolutely delicious. There's no added rusk. There's no added, or there is no rusk. There's no added gluten. And some of the spice you will pick up, obviously, you would know, but it's cloves, cinnamon, allspice, and that's what gives it that amazing aroma. And a lot of times people ask us, it's very high in protein, but there's obviously a little bit of fat, and as you can see, the fat will drip out a little bit, but it is
not massively, I have to say.
But it's also, if there's fat that disperses, it's only because there's no rusk in. It can't hold the fat inside. So with a lot of other sausages, there's rusk inside that keeps the fat and contains the fat, but with no rusk inside, it can escape. So, but also that's not a bad thing. Then the fat escapes, but it's a little bit healthier then, a little bit less fat. But the main thing for us, no compromise. There's no added stuff. It's only our recipe with pure Irish beef, and we obviously love it. And so far, it's going well. That was about 2.5 years ago when we started. About a year ago, we started with Henderson's. We were so grateful for Henderson's taking us on board. And from there, we went into the Grow with Aldi scheme and program, and we've been there for a couple of months, and it's going really well. So now I must say, we are very fortunate and very excited, and we want to make Belfast our home. That's why we're working so hard. And even though you might think he's a professional rugby player, how can we do the business? But we've got an amazing team behind us. That's the big thing. Corey's Meat here in Northern Ireland in Newtownards, they do the production for us, and we do the distribution and the marketing, and we absolutely love it. It's been an awesome journey, and like I said earlier, the locals has been amazing. They've taken us on board, and they're making us feel so much at home, and that's why we love it so much.
Absolutely, it's very versatile sausage. We were having it for breakfast this morning, but I mean it's a barbecue sausage. It's a sausage you could use it in a casserole, I guess. You could use it in just with mash, Irish style, so that it's very, very versatile, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it's very versatile, and a lot of people think it's only a barbecue product, but like it is, we eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's the big thing is education. And because obviously pork sausages is such a big thing, we thought that was the gap in the market, obviously. And it goes really well with actually black pudding. We never thought it goes so well with it, but it is really amazing. And
you've got this lovely Doherty's black pudding. You should have that in your hamper. So that's a sort of a tradition here, the Doherty's black one from the Maiden City there, so beautiful.
Yeah, it goes really well with that.
The juices that have come out of this sausage now at this stage, so you sort of see that there, it's like nearly like a ready-made, it's just pure juice. It's not fat.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, and the smell of this is absolutely stunning, by the way.
Yeah, that's amazing. Whenever people smell it, it's obviously very different, and you can smell that aroma. So it's a really tasty.
There is clove coming through, but not overly, over, but it smells so maybe a wee bit of nutmeg there, is there?
A little bit of nutmeg, yeah. No, absolutely, yeah.
No, Louis, best of luck with it. It's a lovely sausage. It's just and it's great now. At the beginning, it was quite hard to get hold of, but with the collaboration with Henderson's, I know that you're in lots of Spar shops now, Eurospar, so that's going to be great for business.
No, absolutely, yeah, no, that makes a huge difference, and we're very fortunate with Henderson's and in the Spars and Eurospars around the country, and then obviously Aldi in the Republic of Ireland, and it's amazing the feedback that we've got from the South Africans, because obviously the locals won't know exactly a lot of times what it tastes like, but your biggest critic will be a South African, and it is going really well over there. There's so many expats, so we've had such good reports from them and feedback. So we are so fortunate with that. So that's why no, it's a great product and a great thing that we're busy with. So we're just very excited.
There's South African expats everywhere, so kind of the world's your oyster here, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's also expats. So, and that's the thing is you don't really get that. Get a beef sausage anywhere. It is very difficult if you get it, especially a traditional South African sausage. You don't get it anywhere, and some local butchers would try and make it, but they wouldn't have a great recipe. So, so it is. We are very proud of the product, and we are just thankful for all the help we've received.
And a unique Lubbock family recipe too. That's no other butcher's going to have that, are they?
No, absolutely. But no, thank you very much.
Thanks a million
for everything, Paula. I really appreciate it.
Good luck with the matches.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So with the burgers, this is a rich sauces. We've got James, I think there. James, this is your rib and wine glaze. So I'm going to put some.
Yeah.
How are you, James?
Aye, fine and dandy.
Good. Right, so I've got Louis sausage here, so I'm just going to add a wee bit to that, just with the glaze here. Just tell us a bit about it. Is it won a gold star in the Great Taste Awards?
Yeah, it has indeed. It's a glaze. We use it. It's like a soy and mirin, and it's got a wee hint of cayenne, so it's like a really sticky barbecue sauce with a wee bit of a kick at the end.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know if you can see that in the pan there, but it's got that lovely. It's got that lovely sort of sticky glaze. You say it's the soy. It's working really well with these sausages, actually.
Yeah, it's good because when you cook it up, it's when you get the more intense flavour. Because it's one of them sauces. Actually, it's better with a wee bit of heat applied to it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's because it's sort of it'll caramelise those sugars naturally, and it's melding into that beef beautifully. So rich sauces. I mean, I can remember I worked in a hotel maybe about over 30 years ago when you just started to do mayonnaise then.
Yeah,
and now you've really moved to the market. You've got a massive range of things, including this. You've got your award-winning vegan mayonnaise now too. So I mean, it's really your company's going from strength to strength. And more of the retail now rather than food service.
No, like most of our business is still food service. We've only really started dabbling in the retail. We've recently going to do a wee plug here. We've recently launched. Where's my camera? Only plant-based. So we have 3 products currently in the retail, but mostly we're still business to business because the mayonnaise is our main driver.
Right, and the vegan mayonnaise, it's going well.
It's going really well for us now. We have the vegan one in a 4.5 bucket, and it's just taken off absolutely massive. So it is, especially over in the UK, sort of down around the holiday destinations. It's huge.
Brilliant. Yeah. So
the advantage of it too is there's no allergens in it. So there's no mustard, there's no egg, there's no dairy. So it's universal. People can have it without having to worry. You don't have to necessarily be vegan, but if you're a celiac or you're intolerant to mustard or whatever, it's a product that customers can put in.
It's a lot of the allergens as well, which is very important.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant, James. Thank you. So this tastes absolutely beautiful, by the way. I have to say.
Thank you.
I've got you sent me quite a big jar of it. Thanks a million for that. I appreciate that.
Good stir fries too.
Thank you. Thanks a million for that. And so I've got some mushrooms here as well. Some of the huge mushrooms. I just did them just again in the grill, so they're taking up that bit of flavour from the lovely the juice that came out of Louis. I don't want to say fat, but it's not really fatty. And then this is some of the Crawford Rock again, which is, as I said before, amazing with mushrooms, really lovely. So it's just a seaweed, there's salt in there, there's a wee bit of chili, it's beautiful. So just I'll put another wee bit in there. I've got some scallions there as well. So I just plate up Lay's lovely sausage here, so and a few of these mushrooms round the other side. And I think John Hopkins is there from Irwin's, and because John will probably thoroughly disapprove of what I've done now. Are you there, John? Hi.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, John. How are you?
More and all.
Morning.
I've made some chips to go with the fry this morning with the Louis sausage and the mushrooms. And these are just wee fried potato bread chips. So there you are. Do you disapprove completely? But I have to say they are lovely.
There's no cooked breakfast without good potato farts.
No, I mean.
But you have a delicacy way of serving them, Paula.
Do you like that? Do you like that, John? Yeah.
Very trendy.
I'm very trendy. That's right. I don't know. Just sort of. I did this actually. Made croutons out of them for a soup a couple of weeks ago, and with the potato bread. Because I think we tend to sort of potato bread is one of those sort of wee treasures that we have. It's just like it's basically potato and flour, isn't it? And it's very traditional, and we tend to have it with the fry. But I think it is particularly nice with these sausages, and it's a wee bit of crispiness in them too. So, I mean, is that one of your big sellers? I know it's the Raglan selection.
But it's way we've collected a lot of awards over the years, whether it be Blast in the Hearn or Great Taste Awards or World Tiptree, and it's things like Nutty Crust and the Barn Bracket. But potato bread always comes out well, and the big difference between our potato bread and product that's available in Scotland, because they talk about potato cakes and the Scottish people will be aware of it, is the level of potato, where ours is basically 90% potato and flour is a binder. In England or in Scotland, like it's 50% flour, 50% potato, and it's a different product. Ours is sort of a moister, sweeter eat, but as you say, it's fantastic and renowned for the Ulster fry. You can't have an Ulster fry without potato bread. No, but we're actually now seeing people are posting it and using it as an accompaniment for boiled eggs or even for starters and things with sort of smoked salmon. And
you could have one of those wee lovely chips there dipped into some of Eileen's soft egg there. Would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Fantastic. What way did you do those?
Just fried them. Just put them into chips and just fried them a wee bit of rapeseed oil so they're nice and crisp there. So. And I know, John, everybody has got in their basket, they've got this Irish barn brack, especially very pertinent at the moment, because this is something that in Ireland we would traditionally eat at Halloween. So, and this one is I have to say, it's a good heavy one. Is that the sign of a good barn brack?
Well, there's 30% fruit in that. I suppose this time of year, barn brack is a hugely traditional thing, particularly in the south of Ireland. And it was always done it was basically a celebration bread, traditionally at the end of the harvest. So anything sweet products like fruit or raisins or anything were all put into the celebration bread. And
a yeast-based bread, which not traditional in Ireland really, because we would be more into our bread or quick breads with the baking soda buttermilk combination. So this is a yeast-based one.
There is a yeast in that as well.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, Halloween, like it's anybody from the south of Ireland, Halloween isn't Halloween without their brack.
No.
And even at this stage, we still have, there's a tradition that a ring goes into the product.
That's right.
And all good technical heads in the food industry will say, what, you put metal into a product? Well, you have to at Halloween.
Especially when I put a pea into it as well, a dried pea, which apparently was, if you got that, you were going to be rich for the rest of the year.
Well, there was at one stage there was a raft of things you sort of used.
There were loads of things like a wee stick and things like that.
So if you got a stick, it meant you were going to travel because it represented a boat. If you got a coin, you were going to be wealthy. If you got the ring, you were going to get married.
Right. But that here, John, they didn't mess around those days.
And there's another one there. If you got a rag, you would have remained the maiden.
Right.
So. Very much traditional.
For health and safety now. Can you imagine? Can you do that?
But the only thing is the ring stays in it for Halloween, and it's all the retailers in the south of Ireland have to have a ring in it. If you didn't have a ring in it, there would be massive customer complaints It's
Really?
a huge tradition. Huge tradition.
Never mind that, it's beautiful. That's part of, what I remember about my childhood was going to my granny's, bit of toasted barnbrack in the evening, loads of butter on it. That's it. And then if you were take it up, you can have a wee bit of this. I know a few people have been trying the lemon curd with it. So this lovely award-winning lemon curd would be beautiful, wouldn't it?
Fantastic. I actually did a sampling, Paula, in Tesco's in Dublin about 4 years ago, and there was people from different parts of the country. Some of them had never toasted their brack, and some of them swore, "Oh, you have to toast the brack." And there was this debate in the canteen, and there was about 10 or 15. Well, what do you do with your brack at Halloween? But it's such an iconic product at Halloween. So,
and a great product, great job.
The cup of tea, and it's fantastic. It really is.
Beautiful. Cup of Suki tea and some butter, and we're laughing, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to say the chat box has absolutely exploded over the potato bread chips.
Oh, I know. We see that. Just nice and healthy. A wee bit crunchy there.
And Sally Jane's talking. She wants to make barnbrack eggy bread. So those two products are really kicked off there.
Barnbrack eggy bread. Yeah.
Apparently, it is a fantastic base, Paula. Maybe you would say for bread and butter pudding.
You took the words out of my mouth. See, with those aged prunes and barnbrack, that's what I'm going to do with that. Actually, it's beautiful. You know, these wee prunes here. Just if you want to soak them in a bit of whiskey, make a bread and butter pudding with the barnbrack. Beautiful, John.
There was a feature one Halloween in the Sunday Telegraph that the renowned food journalist Thane Prince said that it was the best base for barnbrack. Really a fantastic product.
Brilliant. Beautiful. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Enjoy, everybody. Thanks very much, Paula.
Thanks, John.
I think there's going to be a lot of feasting this weekend, isn't there, Mervyn?
I think there is, to be honest. You know, I'm just sorry I'm not there, but I'm glad I have the ingredients. I'm going to try and replicate what you have done, Paula, but I fear it's not going to look anything like that.
Well, look, it's a taste, isn't it?
It's fantastic. Some amazing products.
Thank you. And thanks to all the producers. That was such a lovely basket of ingredients to work with today.
Yes, thanks to everybody. I think we're really spoilt with that selection. Such a lot of fantastic products.
Yeah, it's really superb. Now, that's the end of your presentation, I presume, Paula?
That's it. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic. I think there have been some amazing products there. We're going to open up the floor. If anybody has any questions, there's quite a few questions coming through about availability in GB and so on and so forth. And certainly if we can follow up after this in terms of contacting the appropriate buyers and so on. But I think certainly the feedback is that we all wish we were there. This morning, definitely. Does anybody have any questions? If you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, we'll be happy to answer. Or you can use the chat box. I can call those out. That was amazing. I think we're all clear. Okay, Michelle, thank you. I think we're done. Sorry, there's Barbara's asking which of the South Africans. That was Louis Ludick, who was presenting the Hellbent there.
Just to emphasise to everyone, you've got a little list with your box, just telling you what there is, and all the supplier contact details are on there if there's anyone you want to follow up with. I'm sure if there's any buyers there who need any extra samples or any more information, please do just feel free to contact the suppliers directly.
Good stuff. And I think in the absence of any further questions, I want to thank you all very much for coming on this morning. I know your time's precious, but enjoy the rest of your Friday and heading into the weekend. I hope you have a good one. If you need any further information, do contact us afterwards. But thank you to everybody for coming on, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. All the best.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you, Paula.
Thanks a million.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Tracy. Thank you. Hi, Kerry.
Thank you.
It's like the Waltons, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Night, Grandma.
Matt, John Boy.
I never thought you had over him.
Yeah, trust me, I am, yeah.
We're all being silly.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Kerry. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Eileen. Bye.
Sorry.
Stop recording, Mervyn.
Oh well.